I am live, and I am waiting for somebody to join me. Ooh. Waiting for somebody to join me. And I got some small hands, 'cause I love small hands. Hey Mark, I love you. You're wonderful. Mark is wonderful. No. I'm waiting for Helena. Where is this gal? I'm waiting here. I'm doing well. How are you? How are you, Mark? I don't know what to do. Waiting for Helena to join. I'm waiting for Helena to join. I'm waiting for Helena to join. It's okay, everybody's internet sucks. Everybody's internet sucks. I'm glad you're good, and I'm waiting. Ah, there she is. Alrighty. There she is. Okay, this should be working now. I'm gonna close this door.
Hi! Sorry.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay. Helena's pausing for 1 second. She's pausing for 1 second. Yeah, she's back, I swear. Helena, come back, girl, but really take your time. Helena's coming back. Come back. I see some weird kind of spinny.
Back.
Oh, there you are. Okay, so like a spinny circle. And now you're here. Hi.
I'm here. I had to make sure the cats were all in.
Where are they? Wait, where are they?
I put them on the porch, which is blocked off, so they don't jump over. But sometimes they do when I'm not watching, so I just wanted to bring them back.
That's okay. That's great. My cat is right behind me.
Hi. What's your cat's name?
This is Indy.
Indy. Oh my god.
And this is his favorite chair where he likes to sleep like a little dodo bird.
Oh my goodness.
It's a good time. So tell me, how are you? How is your day? How are your things? How is your life?
Everything is aligning. It's great, I think. Yeah. I just ate a bowl of cereal. That put me in a good mood. My day was pretty good. It was pretty normal. Yeah.
So tell me, what are some of like your highlights for this week? Like your wins with your students? Any breakthroughs?
Yes. Lots of breakthroughs. So I had a good breakthrough belting moment with a student of mine. And we're really working on thinning out the upper belt. And she is so good. She learns really quickly, or she processes feedback really, really quickly. So every week we work on well, we've been working on the same songs now, I think, for about a month, and every time I hear it, it sounds more comfortable.
Yeah.
But she knows exactly what she wants from it, so that's helpful too. You know, she feels when things are uncomfortable, and then she asks questions, and so we're really working on just trying to point her upper belt, and she's just making it work, and I'm so proud of her.
That's amazing. So what song are you working on to like help her thin out that belt and change the placement of it?
We're working on Alicia Keys.
Woof.
Yeah.
Woof. Yikes.
If I Ain't Got You. Yeah. Yeah, that one. I'm like, if anyone brings that song up, I'm like, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a nightmare of a song. And I always feel like it's If I Ain't Got You and
What is that? I feel like you've brought this up before. Hold on. I need to shut the door because I want to hear all about.
yeah, a friend of mine was just like, I think I should buy you little hands, and I was just like, obviously. And then I just use these to like fidget around with.
You're amazing. I love that so much.
It's like it's like my favorite thing. So I'm just like, or sometimes I'll get into a lesson and be like, but yeah, I feel like those two songs, No One and If I Ain't Got You, just sit in that like B4 A4 range, and it's relentless, and you get tired very easily if you don't place it correctly, and everybody wants to die a very swift death.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad it's working out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Because I understand the feeling of frustration in a pocket like that, in a song like that, and just feeling tired and fatigued and like I want to make this work, but I can't. So I'm really proud of her for just thinning everything out and embracing that tiny little like pop, 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 trumpety part of her voice. No, it doesn't sound like that, but
I was about to ask you, it's like, what are some tips that you like recommended to her, like as a student, to be like, okay, we gotta thin this sucker out. Like, what did you recommend?
I'll start with today because that's what I have most fresh in my mind. But we did lots of sliding on starting low and then working our way up. And I was just explaining to her that she should stay grounded in the first pitch of, you know, the slide. But let go of that as she's kind of working her way up, ascending, and feeling that placement happen more in here.
Yeah.
As the scales are going up. So that was my advice to her today, and that went well. I was talking to her about square mouth position. We were talking about twang, getting it all kind of in the front, and then also just not caring what it sounds like. That's what I always tell everybody. Just don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I want you to just feel free, you know?
I feel like that's like the best piece of advice to give to someone in a vocal lesson, and just like in general when you're experimenting with things, because like we've talked about this before, like singing a particular way might sound really good in your head, but on the outside it could be muddy, and you just have to accept the fact that you might sound like shit to yourself, but you don't shit to the outside world.
Right. I feel like oftentimes those small, tiny mistakes are so nuanced that the listener kind of brushes them away, but we internalize them as such a big deal. And it's not.
Yeah. Well, like I wanted to ask you, as like a crossover singer, what was like your journey? And now you're just like, you know, easily and brilliantly teaching people how to belt and thinning out that belt and teaching contemporary. So like, how is your journey going from two very, very different extremes?
Frustrating and really rewarding. I kind of focus in on something when I want something. If I want to get something done, I'm a dog with a bone. I'm like, I'm not giving it up. I'm not gonna give up till I figure this out. I need to figure this out. So that was kind of where the transition started, of just being determined to translate what I was thinking into something real.
Yeah.
vocally, because I couldn't connect that. It's like I hear what I want to sing, but it's not coming out that way. So a lot of working that out, but also just having the audacity to sing and in front of people and mess up a lot. That was a big part of it. I would hesitate to do it, but I made sure that I would find opportunities to try to sing contemporary music as often as I could, because I was so used to singing classically that I just needed the practice.
Yeah.
And so that was what I did. I just wanted to give myself enough opportunity to play around, and that, if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, we'll learn. It's a learning moment.
What's like a piece of advice that you would give to someone if they are a crossover singer or flipping from like contemporary to classical singing even?
Ah, um, usually when if they're going from contemporary to classical, I tell people just to think tall. That's the thing, because a lot of contemporary is really forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to kind of do the opposite. But I would say my advice is the same. Just, who cares what people think? Who cares if you mess up? You have to mess up. There's no way around it. You have to just make crazy sounds.
Yeah.
Because your muscles need to get used to performing in a different way. And yeah, there's gonna be moments where it's like, ugh, and whatever.
Yes.
Great story for you, actually. I was doing a show. If Mary watches this, she might remember. We were in Boston for a 94.5 event, and we sang a few songs, and it was for the radio station. And I remember I was singing, and I think I was singing At Last, and I cracked so badly. There were camera people were filming me. There was lots of people watching. Oh yeah, it was a mess. It was good up until that point. And I remember thinking, like, damn, that just happened. It just happened. I can't take it back. I was so mad. I just went for it way too hard. I thickened it way too hard.
Oh.
And my voice was like, nope. And yeah. And then I went out after, we all had fun, and it was fine. I was like, I will, because you just can't care that much. It did bother me. I wish it had gone smoothly, but you take the good with the bad and keep it moving. But I will never forget that, because I was after it happened, I was like, oh no, like, I've done this well, and I've done this well before. And it just that moment didn't work out.
Do you feel like that was more of like a performance anxiety thing, like being nervous and then just being like, ah?
Oh, absolutely. I have extreme anxiety, period. And so performance anxiety just falls right under that umbrella. And it's yeah, it's a pretty crippling thing, because no matter how much you practice, at least for me, no matter how much I practice,
Oh yeah.
that it's kind of a whole new territory once the anxiety kicks in, because it's a totally different sound. It's a different voice. It's just there's no control anymore. You have to rely on good muscle memory and hope that it works. But why that keeps happening?
There you go.
It's just shutting off.
I completely
Hi.
reason, but like I completely resonate with that feeling, because I'm also incredibly high strung and anxious, and so the idea of performing makes me want to vomit every time. So I personally don't before I gig, or else I will vomit. I will. It'll be like,
oh no.
yeah.
I don't have that sensation. I don't feel nauseous, but I feel like a small dog that's just like I'm ready to go, and I can't stop shaking, and I'm like, ah! No matter what I do, it won't go away. I've tried it all.
So what do you, when you get into that performance situation, are you just like, screw it, I'm gonna go for it, and then like by maybe like the second song, does it go away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just try to listen to the advice. Cliches are around for a reason, I feel like, to a degree. So when people talk about just not letting anxiety inhibit you, and to do what you want to do anyway, and perform anyway, and let it channel the anxiety. I can't always channel it the way I love to, but performing more often does help immensely, because you just take away a lot of the unknown factors. If you've done it a bunch of times, it's like, okay, we've got this. We've done this before. We're good. So I think that's the biggest thing. It definitely, by the end of it, it's such a rewarding feeling to have performed that it feels almost worse to not perform and to kind of decline the opportunity than to just go for it, make some mistakes in between.
I completely agree with that. I feel like more often than not, it's just sort of like letting that anxiety win. And at the end of the day, like we're all just artists and we just want to be expressive. And that negative chatter is just like, no.
Right, because your audience wants you to win too. They don't want to see you all, you know, verschwatzeled and like.
I love that you said that though, that like your audience also wants you to win. I think
Of
that's
course.
a beautiful thing to say because I feel like maybe some people would approach that situation and be like, no, they're gonna judge me and oh my god.
Yeah,
But
no, I feel like that's the thing that kills me. It's because I just as an audience member, watching someone if they have performance anxiety, I always feel so I have so much empathy because I want I want them to do well. Like, no, don't be nervous. It's like, who cares? We want you to sing. You know what I mean? It's like I want to see everyone do their best. So
yeah, I get that. So speaking of gigging, are you so now with like COVID vaccinations and the world being half open, are you gigging again? And like, what's your music like? What have you been like creating? What have you been writing?
you know, I actually good question because I feel that during COVID, a lot of people took that time to be creative. And I felt very much the opposite. I was like, yeah, I got a lot of free time for a little while, but I don't feel inspired. The whole thing was just not the time for me. But more recently, I have been writing. My cousin and I have been writing together, and that's really collaborative and amazing. And Empress, who just joined, is hosting an event next week. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is next week on the 4th. And that will be the first live performance I've done in quite a while.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
So yeah, so I'm excited. It's the event is for domestic violence awareness, and so I've really been hesitant to do any live performing just because not because of COVID. I'm just kind of not. I'm still kind of getting my head right, but I feel like this is something I want to do. So I'm excited for it.
That's huge, and that's like an amazing cause as well. So what are you going to be singing? What's the repertoire?
I have yet to figure that out. I'm gonna do that soon. I've been thinking about it. Probably shouldn't be honest, but I'm going to be because I am.
Listen,
Uh,
you're a human being. It's okay.
mhm.
That's okay.
I'm gonna scramble at the last minute and just get it done. That's the goal.
That's the goal. I mean, yeah, that's really exciting and super huge. So, um, what have you been doing to like? Okay, fine. I also resonate with that feeling. I feel like I really resented people who were very creative during COVID because I was just like a ugly crying all the time, just like in a ball, thinking I was gonna die, and I did nothing. I did nothing with my COVID time other than just think whatever that I survived. But so question, what did you listen to stay sane? What did you do to stay sane?
I I I planted things in my garden and I watched them grow and I harvested things. I was total hippie. I just wanted to be outside and like take care of my garden. It just got my mind off of everything. I didn't want because the thing about music is like I love music and I love singing. I hate making it a not like teaching. I like my job teaching, but I don't want to think about it as like I have to go do this. Like, oh, this is work. I don't want it to be work. So if it's not coming to me organically, I just go outside and enjoy fresh air. And but that's the only thing that really calms me down, honestly, is just being outside, being by the water. I love being by the ocean state in Rhode Island, but
Oh, it's Ocean State. I had no
is the
idea.
ocean. Yeah, yeah. So and that's a place that I really find my place. So a place that I find my place. I find my peace. So that's pretty much what I did.
What did you grow in your garden? I'm curious.
Ha. So I threw a bunch of compost in there for a couple months, actually all year. And I did plant a couple things, but it ended up growing on its own. Just with all of the compost that I had in there, there was a sunflower, there was a catnip because a plant died in my house, and I threw it in. It
Yes.
grew. So tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers,
Oh,
St. John's wort.
that was like Helena's farm right there.
Yeah, totally. It was awesome. There's mint right now, and from last year it grew back. Lemon balm, um, garlic chive. Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff, and I just all summer I just took care of it and did a bunch. Yeah,
That's wild.
minty.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I feel like that's definitely I'm like in an apartment, and so my only joy was having bird feeders.
Oh,
But they poop everywhere. But it's just like it's so I birding is definitely resonate with the feeling of like going into nature. Birding got me through like some wildly dark time.
mm-hmm.
But okay, quick pivot.
Can you hear my cat? Sorry to.
Yes, please show me your cat. I showed
Oh
you
no,
that.
I didn't know if you could hear him. He's like
Yeah.
meow. Sorry. This is hi. This is
Hi.
Flo. Say hi. He
Hi,
needs
Flo.
attention right now. He's like, you are not paying attention to me, and
Will
this is
he
a huge
meow for
issue.
us? Flo?
Sorry, Klaus. Say hi to Emily.
Hi.
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought. I just thought about like I had a flash of how many students' cats I tried to talk to. Any of them ignore me. I'm like, hi, hey.
Sorry, you said quick pivot, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna pivot again.
Yeah, and I was like, well,
Sorry.
started teaching in person recently. How is that transition been going?
Oh, I love it. And you know, I was such a big advocate for online learning because I've taken online voice lessons before COVID, and I'm like, oh, it's great, it's convenient. I've been pushing for this for a while. But you know what? Yeah. In-person lessons offer a sound quality that I think I know you can infer quite a lot online, but to really hear someone resonate in front of you, I think is irreplaceable. I think it's important for the students. I think they need to hear that in order to learn a little bit better and really get a grasp on what they're hearing, because I have to keep in mind too that even though I know what I'm looking for and I know what I'm listening for, they might not have that developed yet. So especially if they're younger. So to be in person allows me to show them what I'm looking for versus what I'm hearing or whatever, you know, just contrasting for them. And I think it's helping them pick it up a lot more quickly. So I'm really enjoying in-person lessons. I'm enjoying the in-person energy. I was accompanying my student the other day, and I could tell she was getting into it. It's just live performing, even though it's small and I'm not a pianist, I just play chords, but to have that energy exchanged, I think it's something we've really missed.
Yeah, it's really hard too with like the circumstances in which everything happened and pivoting online and being and doing it successfully, thank God.
Yeah.
Definitely, I know I'm teaching biweekly, like in person, and it's almost like a palate cleanser. Like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
being able to accompany people. It's really, really amazing. I love it. So, question.
Yes.
I've been asking everybody this. I'm curious. Like, what's your favorite like expressive like vocal coordination? Like for me, like a cop out. Like my favorite would be like utilizing vocal fold closure.
Ooh, in what way? Like with Fry or?
Or just like experimenting with being deliberately breathy in particular passages to parallel with like the lyrical content. But like, what's your favorite go-to vocal coordination?
Ooh, okay. Can I be honest with you? Ever since I've been getting more comfortable with belting, I love just being loud. I love being loud and playing around with being loud. And I'm not saying I would necessarily do that all the time in a performance setting. I
Yeah.
tend to sing more comfortably. My comfort zone is breathiness. I love singing with breathy tone quality. That's always been something I find easy and fun. But I love to just be in yeah, I love to be around the house by myself, singing really loudly and just seeing what I can do with the volume and not caring how it sounds. That's my favorite vocal coordination. Just like a lot of forward, full body placement.
What have you been belting? Like, what have you been singing and listening to? What's inspiring you these days?
Ooh, good question. What have I been listening to? Um, well, I listen to a lot of random music that I almost don't even document because
Oh, Helena, there's a little bit of circling happening over here. What's happening with Helena? There you are.
did I just X out?
Oh no, I think it just circled. Like there was like a little like circle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, I listened to St. Vincent's new album because my student sang a song from
Ooh,
it, and
yeah.
so that was so it's I guess it wouldn't be something that I'm like really obsessed with at the moment, but I actually I go through phases where I listen to music a lot and sometimes I dip, and I'm coming out of that dip right now of just tuning things out. I can tell when it happens too because I get sucked into the radio and the news and then I can't get out. I'm like, someone get me out of here. Get me out. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Please help me. So that was the first album that I actually kind of went beginning to end with in a long time, and I was like, okay, this was fun because I also listened to I was listening to the news trying to get out of that, and they happened to be interviewing her about her new album. So yeah, so I was like, okay, let me understand where the inspiration's from, and then I took a listen to it, and so that was the most recent thing.
Oh, wow. What platform were they interviewing her on? Do you remember?
NPR.
NPR.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of that podcast, Song Exploder?
I haven't.
Oh, it's a great podcast where, and maybe she's been on it, I don't know, but they have all these different artists, like wildly different artists, basically break down one of their songs, down from like inspiration and what they did into the studio, and then the final few minutes of the podcast, you get to hear the song in its entirety.
I love. Can you see me, by the way?
I can see you perfectly.
Oh, I can't see me. Okay. What is the podcast called?
Song Exploder, I'm pretty sure.
All right. All right.
Yes, and then they did like a special on Netflix too. And the way that I found it is I love that. Yes, clap.
Oh, darling.
I still whisker from the corner.
Yep. It's very musical.
But it's like I've personally just been also like I feel like you and I have a lot of similarities, but I avoid the but I get sucked into like true crime podcasts pretty bad.
Oh, that I know that rabbit hole. Yup.
I don't like it.
I don't either. It's too dark. I'm like, I can't stop though.
It's a
You
tough.
know?
So I've been trying to listen to this podcast to find inspiration, um, and understanding like other artists' process and what they do in the studio and how they approach things. So it's been a definite palate cleanser.
Yeah, I would love to check that out because it's not that I think avoidance happens from not wanting to feel too much because music makes us feel everything. I feel like it's such a it's really so visceral and to I don't know. I think when it's like over sensory, you know what I mean? Sensory overload.
Yes, 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 yes.
And so when I get into that weird funk, I'm like, no, don't want to put that, you know. But I think part of what's brilliant about it is that that it's extremely inspiring. So that's kind of what also revs up. It gets me in gear. You know what I mean? I'm so bad with stupid cliches. I always say the wrong thing.
Oh my God, no, you are articulating yourself perfectly. You are saying the right things, and I totally understand. Okay. Yeah, I see you. I see you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We call it mixed metaphors. My
Mix.
mom and I do that. Yeah, we mix them up. Or mix up cliche, like just swap them out and they don't make sense. And it's like, you know what I'm talking about. Just roll with it.
Well, I guess like my final question would be, speaking of visceral reactions and sensations from music, so what was the most recent song that you heard that gave you a very visceral reaction?
Oh, I think that was probably the song that I sang that we worked on, Head and Heart on Fire. by, I think Leon is the artist's name.
Weeds. Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. And I loved that song. It caught my ear because her sound is exactly like a friend of, it reminded me of a friend
yeah.
of mine that I have. And I was blown away, but it could be, you know, when you hear someone, you hear a voice, you're like, oh, that sounds exactly like so-and-so. You're just picturing them singing it and it can't get out of your head. That's kind of how it stuck. But then the more I listened to the song, I was like, oh, I really like this. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed singing it. And it was one of the kind of on repeat songs that I had. That's when I know I love a song, if I can't stop listening to it, obviously. So that was it.
It's a beautiful song. And then we also discussed how Swedish people are amazing.
Yeah, music.
Music.
Great
Music.
musicians.
Well, I ran out of things to ask you because
Cool.
I don't know. Do you want to tell me something?
Huh?
Do you want to tell me anything?
I don't know. No, I don't.
You're like, I got
Nope.
with you right
No,
now.
I think I'm just, sorry. No, this is cool. I'm still getting used to Instagram Live. I feel like I've been in a weird, socializing's been weird recently too. Being in public. I don't know if anybody's watching can relate, but I'm still trying to figure out. I feel like I'm slow. Like I'm processing things slowly. I'm like,
Yeah.
hi. Okay. I'm still here. You're looking at me. You're watching. I have to respond now. Okay. You know what I mean? Even though I've been talking to people, but it just hasn't been at this capacity. I'm excited though, and I'm ranting now.
No, I feel like the more that we have these conversations about COVID brain, and I feel like everyone feels very isolated with that topic. Like, I don't know, I'm not retaining information. I feel very strange. The more that we talk about it and we're united in that, I'm just like, yes, no, everyone feels stagnant. Everyone feels stuck. Everyone struggled with creativity. And a lot of people weren't thriving. This really
Mm-hmm.
was time to thrive, and that's okay.
I agree. I feel like there was a big push to maintain normalcy, and I am for that. I really do see the side of and the importance in that side of saying like, okay, we have to persevere, but I also really acknowledge the side of things and want to acknowledge the other side that is kind of crippling and just like it's okay to just not and
Yeah.
just do nothing and not feel accomplished and all of that because I think there's a lot of validity and I think that obviously I know that not that I think this year was really hard for a lot of people, so I think we should continue to be kind and just be patient.
Yeah. It's something that I want to reiterate that I really love that you said is like, you know, when things don't come organically and naturally, like you as an artist and as a musician, you were just like, I'm going to do something else and like be present and be part of nature and like cultivate things and grow something in a completely different medium and aspect. And
Yeah.
I feel like as another musician who felt so guilty about not doing enough,
Mm-hmm.
you just never think about like, oh, maybe I should do something else and like cultivate some other aspect of my life and have growth there. So I thought,
Cool, thank you. I appreciate that because even I think while it was happening, I was pushing back on the idea of dedicating a lot of time to something else, but I couldn't stop and I felt like that was the sign to just keep doing it. I'm like, okay, this is really making me happy and it's getting my mind off of everything and it feels like I'm fulfilling some kind of purpose and I'm a little obsessed with it, then I'm just going to keep doing this because this is what is calling me right now. I'm going to play in my garden and like, get dirt all over me and pick up worms and stuff and whatever. Yeah, if they're like, in the way, just move them. I want them there. They're
yeah,
good.
we're all right. So when is your next in-person gig? You said July?
I think June 4th.
June 4th. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
so if anyone who's watching this is in the Rhode Island area, you should definitely watch Helena because she is an amazingly gifted singer, a fantastic performer, a beautiful person, and an actor.
Thank you, Emily. Likewise.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. I want to leave. I like that. I'm not going to sing it back.
Please sing
No,
it.
no, no. I feel like it's like a perfect ending to the show, and then we just
No
kind
one,
of fade away.
no one ever sings back to me, Helena, please.
Why? No, I'm being dramatic. I love that. Thank you.
Yes, Helena.
Actually, Klaus is going to take over that portion for me. Much better.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay. And that's it.
That's the
See?
ending. That's the ending. Okay.